Well, my computer's apparently dumb. I don't know. I'm like the worst millennial right now.
Oh man, okay.
Okay, well, whatever. Are you guys, is more than one person recording right now?
I'm recording.
I can see the Kobe started recording.
Get this. I think only one person can record because I can't record anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't have the button either.
As we've been kicking each other out.
That's fine.
Okay.
We have some recording.
That's fine. It's not a big deal.
All volunteers.
Because once you stop the recording, I have the ability to save it to you now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So I guess if it's only letting one person record, we'll just roll with it. Now I'm nervous.
I know, me too. I want to like put my phone up to the screen to record
right?
it.
Well, we also have tomorrow. Worst case scenario, we can reconvene tomorrow and do a quick one.
That's true.
This will be like the rehearsal.
Yeah.
Plus, we might get our 6th person then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's missing? James or something?
I think that's his last name.
Yeah, something James.
Yeah. I don't want to mispronounce it.
In my last group project, we had somebody who just never showed up to anything. Just was in the class apparently, but didn't.
Wow.
Missed the part about her being in a group, I guess.
I guess that's a good use of your money.
I didn't think so, but.
So their personality role would have been procrastinator.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, so do we want to get started?
Sure.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'm Ashley, for anybody who can't see or whatever. And I am from Pennsylvania, so Eastern Standard Time, FYI, as we are coordinating these things.
No.
But yeah, so my top 2 were actually tied, executive and chairperson. So I wrote down a couple things from the descriptions. I don't know if you guys read the descriptions, but it said referred to as the organizer, disciplined, eager to get the job done. The chairperson is a strong coordinating role, trying to keep the team together. So I think that's already been kind of obvious.
You set up the Skype call, so you already proved it.
That mine did not work, but yes. So yeah, those were my top 1, 2 that were tied. So anybody else?
Okay, I guess I'll go. So I'm Colby. I live in Spring, Texas. So I'm, I guess, fairly close, being like 8 hours away from actual West Texas A&M. I was my biggest one was completer, which I think makes sense because it's like part of my job. I work in project controls, so I work at the construction site for an industrial gas company, and part of my job is to audit everything that's going on as far as like schedule and cost and things like that. So I deal with data a lot, and I guess part of a completer is that I'm concerned when errors are made, and I always worry about it, which makes sense because I'm always worried all the time. But also, you know, it's like everything's kind of like a team role. So, you know, I always make sure that if somebody's submitting something through up to management, that, you know, I take a look at it and then I, you know, try to scrub through it and make sure it's right before it goes up, just in case. But that was my personality role.
Okay, I will go next. My personal role is, by the way, I give a brief introduction for myself. I was original from China. I've been in the United States for 80 years. So I live in Lubbock, Texas. It's like awesome. 1.5 hours from West Texas A&M University. My top, this one, the personality result is expert. And second one is analyst. I think it's kind of match my background. I've been working for the lab. It's mainly the microbiology lab for over 10 years. Right now, I work for industry. My department is really responsible for the product quality and safety and product development. My I really haven't known myself much. I just feel like I like how to say to results oriented person. If I have some specific task, I would like keep find out what's going on.
Cool. Hi, I'm Donald. I am apparently a team member, which I think means I bring the donuts to the meeting.
Nice. You're the most important
Hey,
person.
we need that. We need that.
That's true.
I bring the invisible donuts, although I don't know, maybe there's like an emoticon for donuts. Yeah, so that was my key result. I live in Vermont, which is way up in the Northeast, also Eastern Standard Time. Right now, there's 2.5 feet of snow on the ground. Just finished shoveling. And I work as a system developer for the state of Vermont. So actually, like, data and data quality assurance is a huge part of what I do, and trying to make sure that we're getting accurate data about stuff and people are entering the right data is we're doing a huge records management project right now, and it's been a challenge trying to balance usability of the system and getting good data out of the system. So it's been a big challenge, interesting challenge, but I'm really looking forward to this class in particular because it seems relevant to me.
My name's Marco Delira. Obviously, I'm the one that the video doesn't work at the moment, but I'm trying. With that said, though, I'm from the DFW area, Texas, similar to Colby as far as being close to spring. I work or have been working. I worked a little bit in the power industry a couple of years, and then now I've been working in the natural gas industry, you could say, for 3 years now. I'm a project and engineer, and now I've been moved into an operations role. The two top ones for me were Explorer, which I was a little bit shocked, and then Analyst, which hits dead on with what I do. But, I tend to try to look at things 10 million ways as being an engineer, obviously, and try to figure out, how we can do it efficiently. And I'm very organized. I could tell how, let's see, I could tell Ashley was very motivated on trying to get this scheduled, which was awesome. But I'm the same way. I'm very much so about being on point, getting structured and getting organized. So it sounds like we have a great team. I don't know that, I guess we don't know that sixth person yet, but I'm sure there'll be another big big slash to the pie.
So do we want to go over the assignment or the topic? Does
Sure.
anyone have that open if they want to read like the?
I have it open.
I was gonna say I thought I did, but apparently I closed out of everything when Skype was messed up.
Okay, so it says discuss the following prompt. Consider a difficult experience at work in a class, or it says in a class you had working with data. What caused the difficulty? How did you or your team mitigate the difficulty? So experience at work or in the classroom where you were working with data and had a problem and how you fixed it.
Okay, so I can start off with this, and I don't even know if this is along the lines of what we're looking for, but I'll take a stab at it. But recently, so I'm in the financial industry with investments, and we work for public entities across the country, so I do a lot of traveling. But we had a file that needed to be condensed and uniform in order to upload it to a program. And the file that was given to me to kind of reconcile and fix was it was an Excel file, and it had, I think it was 3 years of data with each month on a different tab, and about 30 columns in each one, and then about, I don't know, thousands of rows of data. So not a big deal because we sort through this stuff on a daily basis, until I realized that the first year was completely keyed in by hand, like manual entry, which means there were a ton of errors. Half of it was there were duplicates, which is an issue. There were cells that were just left empty. It was just a mess. And really, the only thing we could do was split it up between our team and go through line by line. And we did like some arrays and different things in Excel to try to narrow it down. But we ended up having to go through like 10,000 rows of data by hand and fix it all, which was awful. So that's my bad experience with data recently.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
This like gave me the shivers.
Yeah, you actually had that.
It took a while.
Yeah. Okay, so for mine, it was kind of like a two-part problem. One, I think it was Donald, you said you work as like a systems analyst, and Marco, you work as a project engineer, right? So I think I'm kind of like in between. So in project controls, it's like I deal a lot with reporting, through schedule or cost. So a lot of data kind of gets flowed in, and project managers and construction managers are notorious for wanting like very specific reports. And they say, I want to see the data in this format. And then you're working on 5 projects and they all want it different ways. So you're kind of like, hamstringed because you're working on everything in different ways. So, and they're all hard keyed reports. So it made it really difficult, or, there were a lot of errors that could have happened, things like that. So we ended up using a program called Tableau to actually pull from a database for some of this information, kind of like what the class is now. I'm still like, I've only been using it for about a year, so I'm still getting used to it, but we were able to send queries in a database to extract reports, and it's actually a live connection. So it's, as things are getting updated in the database, it's updating the reports as well. So it was able to cut down on errors, which happened all the time. And, the speed and, that people could get the reports was much quicker than, the hard keyed Excel reports that we did all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my experience.
Databases to the rescue.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. For my part, since really my job dealing data is very preliminary, mainly thing from work I think about is from the lab results. We use the software the lab supplied. So basically, I just to summarize or to extract different data for sometimes for quality, sometimes for the safety, sometimes just for the operation side. What will what can be impacted by the equipment. Really, main thing just to make sure when I extract. It gets the data from the lab to make sure they are fall in the same category and for different purpose to use. That's it.
I sort of outlined my my struggle with data a bit in my introduction, but you guys' stories sort of made me realize what exactly my problem is. And it's that we have 30 years, basically, of documents, which we're a government organization, so we're required to keep them by law. They're public records. And they're taking up a lot of space. Something needs to be done with them. And they have not been categorized before now. It's basically like lying on people's desks. The digital version, and the project I mentioned we're working on is trying to get them all in a organized, categorized format somehow. And I think we're just sort of realizing just how much trouble that's going to be.
So mine is a little bit in between, kind of what you had mentioned, Colby. But actually, I was doing, or here recently, I was doing a lot more project work. But now, in my new role, I've encountered some issues with records, being in the business, in the natural gas industry business. Records is huge, and how you file it and how you keep up with it is probably the hardest thing, because of all the people you have to do, you have to meet with and everything. And like you mentioned, there's different individuals that want to see certain information, and there's some individuals that want to see something different. So we're constantly either using a software called CM Plus, or internally trying to make spreadsheets with different queries, or filters essentially of them. And so it could be a pain in the ass trying to find certain records, especially when it's in somebody's desk, or it's in Fort Worth or something in a box, and you got to get it scanned and then reload it. Yes, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I feel you.
Anybody have anything else they want to add? Going once.
Did we hit the 15-minute mark? Did we hit the 15-minute mark?
Oh yeah, we're at 16:37.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
But
Awesome.
okay, so I will add one thing, that when I hit stop recording, it'll show up at some point. I don't know how long it takes, but it'll show up on the chat. If everybody can just download it to their computer, just in case, just so we all have a backup, and then go from there.
Who's going to submit it?
And everybody goes quiet.
I can try, but
I
I'm
can do
not
it.
promising it's going to work, considering I can't even record. So
I can try, and then if I'll send a group text if I'm successful or not tonight.
okay, I was going to say, who has a public YouTube page that we can upload this onto?
I had to make one for one of the previous classes back last summer, I think. So I'll try to use that one, and if I'm successful, I'll let y'all know. And I may just copy y'all on there, so that way everybody has a copy of it.
I also have a public one. So if for whatever reason Marco can't, I can give it a shot.
Okay, and you guys are going to try that tonight then?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
if you want to
just
do it,
wanna make
Donald,
sure.
by all means.
Okay.
I just think
Well,
I have.
I don't want it to be tomorrow at like 11:59.
Yeah. No.
It just means we work well under pressure.
Yeah, no worries. I'll go ahead and try to upload it right now on the YouTube.
Okay, cool. And then we'll all.
Okay, so
touch base.
I'm gonna hit stop recording.
All right.
I'm really nervous. Okay, hold on.